All right, let's shift our focus now. Ontario's Premier Doug Ford on Thursday teased a new one-minute anti-Trump ad campaign, which is planned to run in the U.S. The Premier warned that Trump's tariffs will cost Americans their jobs. The campaign is set to run until the end of January and cost about 75 million Canadian dollars. Ford said the ad will air on Newsmax and Bloomberg this week and on other major networks, including Fox, NBC, Comcast, Spectrum, Sinclair, CBS, CNBC and ESPN in the next 2 weeks. The Premier noted that CNN was unlikely to air this ad, explaining they're a little nervous. The new ad draws a parallel to the current tariffs policy, with the justification and warning given by former President Ronald Reagan for imposing 100% tariffs on Japanese electronics over a trade dispute in 1987. In his radio address back in 1987, Reagan had cautioned against the long-term economic risks of protectionist tariffs on foreign goods. Reagan had also explained that tariffs should be used to solve a specific problem, not to start a trade war. Ontario's ad features some parts of the former president's speech. Reagan had said, and I'm quoting here, "Over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer." He added, high tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars. Then the worst happens. Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, millions of people lose their jobs. For teasing the new ad campaign at a Toronto business meet, said, "We're going to repeat that message to every Republican district there is right across the entire country." Back in January, Ontario's Premier was the first to hit back at Trump's tariffs. In February, he had led a delegation of all 13 Canadian premiers to Washington for the first time ever. Ford had illustrated how seriously Canada viewed a potential trade war. This week, the Premier urged Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney to take strong action against the United States if there was no resolution to the trade dispute. Ford said, "Trump could agree to something one day and he'll wake up and change his mind the next, and you won't even know what hit you. I mentioned to the Prime Minister, yes, we have to strike a deal with the US, but you can't get rolled over by this guy. If he can't get a deal, we have to hit back." However, Carney rejected that idea and said now is not the time to hit back. Carney added that he is engaged in deep and intensive negotiations with the US on several tariffed sectors. Earlier this week, in a hot mic moment, Trump made a gaffe by calling Canada's Prime Minister Carney the president of the country. After Trump's speech at the Gaza Peace Summit, Carney confronted him and pointed out his mistake. Trump smartly turned his mistake into a witty reply by saying, "At least I didn't call you a governor." That response was a dig at Carney's predecessor, Justin Trudeau, recalling past jokes about Canada as the 51st U.S. state. Separately, the Chinese embassy in Washington also used the Reagan clip in a social media post to taunt Trump's tariffs as tensions rose between China and the United States over trade.